This video is sponsored by CourseRanks. In the past, buying online courses has been confusing to say the least. Let me explain. When I first got into business, I was being bombarded by social media posts, YouTube ads of millionaires standing in front of private jets, and literally hundreds of marketing emails every single day. It seemed like every influencer I watched had the best opportunity for starting a business in insert year here, and I couldn't figure out how they could possibly give a 90-minute live presentation every 15 minutes. Not to mention the fact that the price of their course always somehow seemed to be discounted for just the next 24 hours. I had no idea who to listen to, what to do, or how to get started making money online. Eventually, I decided to buy a course for $1,500 about how to grow a marketing agency. But when I purchased the course, I was surprised to see it wasn't even finished. I also felt like I was being pressured to buy more from the course seller instead of learning how to grow my business. Down the line, I realized that what I had paid for was extremely overpriced and there were much higher quality options out there. Eventually, I started doing more research before I bought a course. This was really frustrating. I had a hard time finding unbiased reviews online, and the negative reviews I found were just there to tear down their competition and sell me on their own business opportunity. I eventually got so frustrated by the insanity that is the online business market that I decided to make CourseRanks, the first online course review platform on the internet. CourseRanks levels the playing field by allowing course buyers to equally evaluate all of today's online business opportunities in one spot. Not only can the average Jill or Joe now get an at-a-glance grasp on every business opportunity, but they can also see all the available courses in any particular industry, read genuine reviews from real students, and share their own experiences with online courses. CourseRanks' mission is to make buying the right course as simple as a few clicks. Sign up today at courseranks.com. So when I dropped out of college, I knew that I still needed a way to educate myself. Over the last year and a half since I've dropped out, I've spent almost $19,000 on online courses and one-on-one coaching. And in this video, we're going to talk about why. I'm going to name every online course I've taken. Feel free to skip that part if you want, but there's a lot of value that I'm going to provide there. And then once we finish that list, I'm going to talk about my advice to you when you're purchasing courses. So I want to start at the very beginning of everyone's journey, which was the beginning of my journey as well. This is when you're watching free webinars, free summits, free whatever, free YouTube videos. There's nothing wrong with it at the beginning, but you need to understand that these are not designed to help you. They're designed to sell you something, which selling you something can help you. But these free webinars, if you're just going to watch the free webinar and you're not going to buy the product, it's really not going to help you at the end of the day. So stop wasting your time thinking you're gaming the system, because you're not. You're better off just taking action yourself than sitting there watching a 3-hour webinar from some guru. So I started there. I probably watched, 15 free webinars, a bunch of other little summit things, read all these Facebook ads, just consumed a ton of free content. And then eventually one of those convinced me to purchase a product. The first course I bought was Stephenson's Chatmatic agency course. So Chatmatic is a software that he developed similar to ManyChat. He was selling it though for about 10 times the price with 1/16 of the functionality. It could barely do anything. Basically, he just needed to recoup his investment. He told us this. He said, "We spent so much developing this and it's still not where we want it to be, and therefore this is why we're selling it to you at this amazing price," which I thought was a good price, but it actually was not. But his course was teaching you how to get messenger bot clients. So for $1,500, you got access to his course, which was really just like him talking to a whiteboard. It wasn't very amazing, and it wasn't finished when I purchased it. So for $1,500, you get access to the software for a year so that you can give it to as many clients as you want. And then you also get the course, which is how to get clients, kind of. It took me about 2 months to realize that the software didn't do what I needed it to do. And I actually ended up asking for a refund, but I was too late. But what I want to say about this is it was the best money I ever spent. Even though I kind of felt like I got scammed, I was investing in myself. And Stephenson can keep my money because he convinced me to start down this entrepreneurial path, and I'm honestly grateful to him for that. Even though it felt like a scam, everybody's going to buy something at some point in their life that they don't feel good about. And the question is, what are you going to do after you buy it? Are you going to sit there and blame the guru, or are you going to go and take action, buy something else that's actually helpful? So the next thing I invested in was one-on-one mentorship with my mentor, Trey Cockrum. For the first 2 months, I paid $1,300, and for the second 2 months, I paid $800. We were honestly pretty good friends after the first 2 months, and so he just gave me a discount and we continued consulting for that time. Again, this is some of the best money I ever spent because it was basically therapy. I thought I was hiring Trey to help me learn how to run digital marketing campaigns, but what I really hired him to do was help me get over my own mindset issues. that was invaluable to me, and working with him was honestly amazing. We've become really good friends since then. I flew out to meet him in person, and honestly, it was really cool to kind of get him before he got a little bit bigger and a lot more expensive. And we still talk all the time. So I would say this one was definitely worth it. A couple weeks into working with Trey, he recommended I buy Sam Ovens Consulting Accelerator, which is $2,000, but you can get it for $500 off if you watch his webinar or if you use my referral link in the description. I actually made a video outlining everything I think about Sam and his courses. It's pretty popular. A lot of people have found it helpful, so go check that out if you want a more in-depth view of what I thought of Sam. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but a course seller's job is really to help somebody just get over their own mindset issues. Sam does this better than anyone else in the industry, in my opinion, and that's why this was so worth it for me. It really helped me understand the psychology behind starting a business versus just the principles. The principles he teaches are really, really good, and he's really good at communicating them in a simple yet motivating way. That's the main thing I would say about Sam Ovens, is he's really good at teaching what he knows. The next thing I bought was Blitz Metrics Facebook for $1 a day course. It was like $250, I think, and I honestly barely looked at it. I was just trying to be more decisive about buying things, and I bought it, and then it wasn't really that helpful. There were some good things in here, but honestly, I could have done without buying this one. The next thing I bought was Mike Schmidt, which he owns agencycoach.com, I believe is the name of his business. His ReviewPro Launchpad, which is about how to get small businesses in your marketing agency by getting them reviews. So again, this was a hybrid model where he sells you the software, but then he also sells you a course along with it to show you how to sell the software, how to use it, and do all those kinds of things. So the reason I'm glad I bought this course is not because the course was really great. It's honestly not that good, and the software is all right, but business owners don't want it as badly as he says. And I found other better ways to grow my agency, in my opinion. But the main thing I learned was just watching Mike sell it. He had such a good Facebook ad that had a really compelling reason to get on the webinar. The webinar was actually live, and I bought immediately after the webinar because I was totally sold. He did a really, really good job of following everything Russell Brunson teaches in his books about selling through webinars. I ended up making the money back from selling review services, so I broke even on this, and it was a good experience. I learned a lot from what Mike and AJ, his business partner, were doing in the webinar, so I really loved honestly the whole experience there. So the next thing I did was invest in one-on-one meetings with somebody who had previously run an agency in my niche. It was super interesting to talk to him, and he honestly changed my business in a lot of different ways. I ended up spending around $1,000 total, but that was over the period of about 8 months. So really awesome experience with that. I would highly recommend, again, supplementing online courses with one-on-one consulting. It's honestly really, really helpful. So the next thing I bought was Uplevel Consulting by Sam Ovens. Most of this value, as I talk about in this video, is in Consulting Accelerator, and I wish I didn't buy it. I still haven't finished the course. I really don't think there's anything that special in it, and I think the way that Sam goes about selling a course is way too rigid, and there's honestly better ways to do so. One awesome thing I will say about Sam Ovens is that everything he does has a checklist. It has a worksheet that you can go through. It has really well documented tutorial video about how to click the buttons that you need to click in order to set up the Facebook campaigns or whatever you're doing. And that is super, super helpful. It's probably paid for itself in just that, because it saved me so much time trying to figure out that stuff on my own. So the next thing I invested in was one-on-one YouTube consulting with a consultant from like somewhere in the Middle East. I probably paid $150 total on this. I found him on Upwork. It was helpful. He kind of helped change some things that I thought about YouTube, but honestly, I probably should have just bought a course and then had one-on-one consulting down the line. But this was part of like that learning phase where you really don't know anything, and then you meet with someone and you're just throwing a bunch of stuff at them and they help clarify that. So I probably would have done it again, if I'm being honest. The next thing I purchased was YouTube for Bosses by Sunny Lenarduzzi, which is about how to grow a YouTube channel. I have a video about this as well. I binge watched it in a weekend. You know, I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I wouldn't have bought it again if I could go back. I bought it for $3.97 because I have a discount code. You can check out this video to find out how I did that. I wouldn't buy this again. I definitely wouldn't buy it for $5.97 if I were you. And you can check out that video to see more information on why I didn't love that course. A few months later, I ended up buying Graham Stephan's YouTube Creator Academy, which was much better. I also talk about it in that video. That cost me $197. I also binged watched this in a weekend, and it was totally worth it. Everything he talks about in there it really helps rein in what you think YouTube is about and helps you understand what it's actually about. So definitely would have done that again. So at this point, we're almost coming up to a year of me buying online courses. This was February of 2020. I invested in the Peak Performance Program by Billy Harris and Kaylee Taylor. I actually know Billy personally, and I've talked with Kaylee a lot because she was my health coach. But this is about performing at your best as an entrepreneur. This course cost me $2,000 because I purchased it before the whole course was finished. I think they're selling it closer to $4,000 or $5,000 now. So I purchased it and I didn't get the content for like 4 months, and by that time I was just kind of like over the questions I had at that point. I still have the course, I need to go through it. But buying the course, I was able to make friends with Billy Harris, who I've hung out with here in London. He's been a great friend, and so that's been a bonus of the course as well. I really need to go through this, but I just have been focusing so much on creating instead of consuming lately that I haven't done it. The next thing I bought was SEO for Bloggers by Matt Giovanisci. I don't know how to say his last name, but this was recommended to me by Marco from Whiteboard Finance because he's starting a blog. He says he knows Matt and he knows what he's talking about. He's done about like $400,000 off of blogging just in the last year. This course kind of confirmed a lot of what I already knew or suspected to be true. I would say it was worth it. I would probably buy it again just because it helped me get started fast on doing the right things with SEO. A few weeks after buying SEO for Bloggers, I bought Nurture and Close 2.0 and 3.0 from Robb Bailey, which cost me $2,000. This is all about getting your agency clients better results. It was a great investment. I really enjoyed what I learned, and it kind of walked me through steps that I knew more or less the idea of what they were doing to help people get results, help their clients get results, but so many helpful tips, and I would definitely do this again. I haven't gone through the whole thing. I just watched the parts that were most relevant to me, but I would do it again if I had to. But I think Robb is legit. Their support is pretty world class, and I actually did really like the course. And the last most recent course that I've purchased was Effortless Output in Rome by Nat Eliason for $250. It's a course about how to take notes in a note-taking app called Rome Research. This might seem kind of weird to you, but Rome Research is an app that I've been looking for such a long time. Off camera, you can't see my notes, but I actually have my notes in Rome Research right now, and it's revolutionizing my life. I haven't been through the whole course from Nat Eliason, but I'm going to. I'll eventually do a review on just that course as well. I've also purchased little things here and there like ebooks or Kino Body. I've purchased his program, and also Kino Chef. I purchased a $36 course from Kyle Bendy called Speaker Secrets that teaches you how to get speaking gigs. And I also purchased something to help me with my posture called Posture School. So those were really low ticket. They probably add up to like $150 altogether. But that's also part of this journey, is just kind of investing in little things, which I've had a lot of success with as well. So now that you know that I'm qualified when it comes to buying courses, which I don't know if that qualification means anything except that I've spent a lot of money, let's talk about my advice. The first thing that every course buyer needs to understand is why they're really buying the course. So let's talk about why you're not buying the course first, and then I'll tell you why you are buying the course. You're not buying the course because it's your ticket to the good life. You're not buying the course because they're going to do everything for you, and you're not buying the course because it's going to fix all your mindset issues and personal problems. You have to do that. The course seller isn't in charge of that. You are buying the course for speed. First and foremost, you are paying for speed because everything they have in their course, you can learn outside their course. But when you invest in the course, you're going to learn it as fast as possible because they've aggregated that information for you. The way I like to think about it is when I think about buying a course, I say, okay, I could try to do a bunch of random research on the internet, or I could pay this person who knows a lot and has compiled everything they know into this course and try to understand it as quickly as possible. And that's honestly going to be the best ROI decision for me because I can go make more money in the time that I would have spent researching. So the first reason you buy a course is for speed. And the second reason is because it's helping you follow a proven system. In an interview I did with my friend Natalia, who has grown a small e-commerce empire, she mentioned this. You need to find a proven system that somebody who's already done it who can teach you how to do it. It's not going to work 100% the same way that it worked for the person that's teaching you, but it's a proven system. It's telling you which actions to take, which is important. Thirdly, you're buying the course for the community. That is, if there is a community. Some courses don't come with a community, and that's honestly a big drawback in my opinion. When you can engage with other like-minded people who are in the same spot as you, that makes a big difference. For example, the community in Sam Ovens courses are really, really awesome. I connected with a lot of cool people in there, and actually one of them ended up being my roommate who's sitting just out of frame here. You wanna come say hi, Chris? Come here, just say hi. So we met because of an online course, and it's honestly been an awesome friendship, and this is part of why you buy courses, right, Chris?
Exactly. Yeah, whatever you said.
And lastly, the reason that you buy courses is as a commitment device. When you invest in yourself, like I mentioned with that first course, then you're willing to actually take action. When you just sit there and you don't spend any money and you don't invest in yourself or commit to yourself, good luck getting off the ground. This is actually scientifically proven. Teachable did a study in 2017 that showed online course completion rates were 61% higher when the course was over $200. I've spent a lot more than that on courses, and so you can imagine how much more the course completion rate gets when the course is more expensive. So that's my first tip. Understand why you're not buying the course, understand why you are buying the course. So now let's talk about why most people fail. Really, really, really good courses have a 5% success rate. I think that's what Sam Ovens' success rate last time I heard, and 6%. Okay, he said 6%. Sam Ovens, who arguably is one of the best course sellers on the market, has a 6% success rate. I'm not sure how they're defining success. I just heard that from a friend, so don't quote me on it. But even a really, really good course, 94% of the people aren't having success. And let's talk about why. So the first one is they can't actually take action. Alex Becker talks about this. He says the best way to help somebody build a business is to help them make their bed. And that's kind of why he got out of Make Money Online course selling, because he couldn't help people make their bed good enough. He couldn't help them with their mindset issues, and he was just teaching the tactics, but a lot of people weren't taking action and they were blaming him. Starting a business isn't a joke. You have to be productive, and most people, when they buy a course, they think that everything's going to work for them. And most people don't get that when they buy a course, and so they think everything's going to be done for them, and that's not how it works. And if you don't know how to be productive, you're not going to have success. A small example of this is somebody posted in a Facebook group when I was first starting out, like a local Facebook group in Utah, and the post said, what are some of your favorite marketers to learn from? And I said, Sam Ovens and Russell Brunson. And this person said, oh my goodness, Sam Ovens' course was so good. I have to go back and watch that sometime. That illustrates the wrong mindset to buy a course with if you actually want to get a return on investment. If you just want to buy it and watch it instead of Netflix, be my guest. But if you want a return on investment, you shouldn't act like that person that's like, oh, that was such a good course, I'm gonna go back and watch it sometime. And the second reason people don't succeed is because the course sellers aren't good at teaching mindset change. I talked about this with the Alex Becker make your bed thing. For example, Sam Ovens sells you his course, but then once you get in the course, he's continually selling you on watching the next video and the next video and the next video. He's really, really, really good at getting you to take action just by watching his videos. Once I got through 2 weeks of his course, I honestly didn't need anything else except a few tactical things, because he had helped change my mindset so much and he had helped my foundation so much. Okay, so now let's talk about the cold hard truth. I don't want to say this, but sometimes debt can be good. Sometimes buying a course with a credit card that you don't have the money to pay can be a good thing. I've never done it personally, but if you watch this interview with Sam Ovens, he talks with this guy, David Thompson, about how he was like $70,000 in debt before he even tried to start a business. That's called a pain threshold. $70,000 in debt was too much for him, and so he started to take action. Hopefully your pain threshold is a little bit less than that. So if you go into debt, let's say $2,000 to buy a course, and you're motivated to pay off that debt, that's a great way to motivate yourself, and honestly isn't the end of the world. The alternative to that is maybe waiting 2 or 3 years to save up the money to buy the course, and by the time you're ready to buy it, you're not even interested anymore, and it doesn't matter. And if you wait 2 or 3 years to save up enough money to buy the course with cash, you could have already made all the money you spent on that course back. It really sometimes takes that leap of faith and committing to yourself, and really won't be that big of a deal at the end of the day. The second point is to do some due diligence. The easiest way to do this is to go to course ranks. The third point here in the cold hard truth is that it might be better to invest in a hybrid program where the course seller does some of the work for you. For example, Joel Kaplan sells a course where he guarantees you 100 appointments, and I think part of that is that his team is helping you get those appointments. J.R. Rivas also sells a similar course where he hires a VA, and the VA comes pre-trained, so that really helps you get the appointments. I also have a friend, which shout out to him, his name is Johnny Vo. He invested in, I think, 8 different marketing agency courses at the same time when he was starting out. When I first talked to him, I honestly was a little doubtful if he was going to be successful, but he bought all of these courses and he is now one of the most successful students in all of those courses, and guess where his testimonial is sitting? On the sales page of every single one of those courses. And guess how he gets students to teach them how to start a marketing agency? They all just come to him because he's on the sales pages of some of the most popular courses in the industry. The guy's a genius. The fourth point here is do not buy based on emotion. This is the problem I had with Uplevel. I was just in love with the idea of becoming an online course seller. He had totally sold me on it. I felt like this really big pull to do it, and I ended up making a poor decision. So think for yourself. Make sure that what you're buying is actually necessary and not just a shiny object. The fifth point here is that if you do buy the wrong course, it's honestly not the end of the world. My brother calls this the tuition of life. And honestly, if I hadn't purchased Uplevel and tried to sell an online course and failed at selling an online course pretty miserably, I wouldn't have learned all of the problems that go along with that, and I would probably still have that dream, and I would have failed at some point. So may as well do it early. At the end of the day, everything works itself out, and the only issues are mindset issues. Sixth is you have to think about opportunity cost. If you buy this course, then you probably won't buy this course, or maybe you will buy both. But if you spend 15 hours watching both of these courses instead of taking 15 hours of action, how far could you have gotten? You just need to keep that in mind. I'm not telling you which one's right, but you have to think for yourself and figure that out. The next point here is to examine the claims of the person who's selling the course. Are they making outrageous claims that you're buying into that actually won't be fulfilled, or are their claims actually pretty reasonable? Can you read into their guarantee a little bit more? Just do a little bit of due diligence there. The next tip is to actually talk to real students who are currently in the course. Course ranks can help you see an aggregate of all the students who have taken it, but when you talk to somebody who purchased the course maybe 1 or 2 months ago, they can tell you what's currently happening and if it's still worth buying the course. When you talk to a real student in the course, instead of watching the course seller's marketing material, you're actually going to get an unbiased review, which is really helpful. So if you made it this far, I hope that you enjoyed learning all about my online course journey, and I hope that you invest in some online courses. The future of learning is moving there, and if you didn't go to college, and even if you did go to college, you probably need to invest. Buying these online courses is honestly going to help you so much. It's going to speed up your progress. It's going to help you commit to yourself. And at the end of the day, it's all about your personal growth and you becoming the person you were put on this earth to be. I'd love to hear what you thought about this video below in the comments. Please subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more content like this. And please go leave a review on Course Ranks. There are tons of courses there and more are being added all the time. We would love to see you there and have you be part of the community. Thanks again for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.